Time now to take a quick look at our State Farm lineups. First for the Mavericks, Collison is out there with Mayo. And filling in at the center position, the 7-footer with the silky touch and the master of the fadeaway jump shot, Dirk Nowitzki. And there's Carter, and it's Marion in at the power forward position. And then for the Boston Celtics, Terry is out there with Avery Bradley. And patrolling the paint, one of the fiercest defenders in NBA history and former MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, the big ticket, Kevin Garnett. Then it's Pierce, and it's Green in at the 4.
The defense just couldn't recover in time.
Yeah, the D pretty much went brain neutral on that one, Clark. Wouldn't
yes,
you?
Sir. I like that phrase.
Yeah, I don't use that phrase very often, but to me that's what happened. He shifted the brain into neutral.
Yes, he did.
That was embarrassing.
Here's Garnett. That drops. And now just over a minute played here in the first.
Well, Darren Collison, the speed merchant out of UCLA, a scoring point guard, the son of 2 track stars. Boy, he's got quickness. You can't run away from that DNA.
Now, here's Bradley. Vince Carter missing his last shot. Garnett, guarded by Marion. 11 feet away. Garnett kicks to Pierce. Terry outside. 6 on the shot clock. Garnett backing down. And there are the Celtics with another basket. Well, going back to Darren Collison, Clark, not just a speedster, he's a steady outside shooter, too. That makes him tough to handle.
Yeah, and I think, guys, the key for him is the development as a playmaker. You know, we know he can score. He's a scrappy defender, but that's where Collison can continue to grow.
Here's Mayo, following the score by Kevin Garnett.
The defense got away with one there. I mean, usually he'll hurt you if you give him that kind of a shot.
The feed to Bradley. Marion with the steal. And here's Mayo for 3. Again, Mayo missing.
And Rick Carlisle, head coach of the Mavericks, actually coached previously in Detroit and Indiana. And, you know, he won the Coach of the Year in his very first season as a head coach, 2002 with Detroit.
Brandon Bass is checked in for Boston. Lee comes in for Jason Terry. And Dallas with a change here, too. Rand's checked in. Now it's sent it down to Doris Burke, who is able to catch up with Coach Doc Rivers.
Well, guys, in terms of their focus coming into this one, he said he's expecting their defense, especially on the interior, to be vital. He said, we can protect the rim with our shot blocking. Of course, we prefer to keep them outside the paint, but that capability to deny finishes certainly could come in handy tonight. Kevin, we'll see if he's right.
Thanks for the report, Doris. Steve, Clark, your thoughts on their defensive focus here?
Well, it's the right strategy, Kevin, because you have to play to your strengths as a team. You can't get away from who you are.
And that's right, Steve. Their strength is certainly what they do defensively. They can rattle folks.
Here's Collison to end the drought. That's good. Collison's got his second basket. And going back to Rick Carlisle's time in Detroit, he'd gotten them as far as the conference finals in the second season. He was shown the door just prior to their championship year in 2004.
Yeah, the Pistons won the title the next year, so a move that obviously was justified, but a strange move nonetheless. Rick Carlisle had plenty of success, but that's the NBA. Coaches get blamed for everything, and to Carlisle's credit, he just moved on, kept working, and has had tremendous success ever since. That's grace over power, guys. With that finger roll, gets him 2 points. Impressive stuff.
Here's Pierce. That's good.
You know, Kevin, they were a step late on their defensive rotation, and that helped them get right to the rim.
Mavericks trailed by 4. The shot and game clock separated by 4. Bradley against Collison. DeMayo. The shot. That falls. Great assist by Darren Collison. And here's Bradley. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. The pass to Pierce. Garnett in the post. He beats the buzzer with a shot.
Major guts right.
And that does it for the first quarter. Celtics out in front, up by 4. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. When you consider how the Celtics are doing, Steve and Clark, your thoughts?
Solid first quarter for this club. They came out strong and they put together some nice momentum here.
Steve, I like the looks they've gotten on offense. A lot of good ones.
Now, here's Green, and that one's good.
You know, this Celtics team that has had so much success in the past half-decade, Kevin, has really been marked by their ability to get good shots at the basket and convert. This is a team that really emphasizes sharing the ball, and last year was no different for them.
James kicks to Crowder. Got it. Good job in the low post.
Well, it wasn't a textbook pick, but he still managed to score. Good concentration on the finish.
Here's Bass. Again, the Celtics good for 2. And so it's Dallas with it. They trail by 7. And the Celtics, as you mentioned, Clark, really like to be selective with their shots. It pays off as they have a very high shooting percentage. And Steve, I always like the fact that they get to the position on the floor they feel most comfortable with, and the ball always delivered in the right place.
Yeah, they execute so well, Kevin. I think the pieces really fit together well in this roster. And it's one of the reasons they've been in the top 5 in field goal percentage last season and the last several seasons. Along with a tough D, that offensive execution has kind of been the hallmark for these Celtics teams the last few years.
Paul Pierce has checked in for the Celtics. Avery Bradley comes in for Jason Terry. Lee passes to Green. Shot clock at 5. Outside Pierce. Bradley over Collison. And James pulls it down. Second quarter of basketball, just over a minute and a half played.
Avery Bradley, coming out of high school, was considered an elite prospect, an All-American. He didn't really dominate in his only year at Texas and hurt his ankle prior to the 2011 draft workouts. That caused him to fall to the Celtics late in the first round.
Boston with the ball, following the score by Dallas. And that one's good by Pierce.
Nice touch near the hoop.
Mavericks trailed by 4. And the foul on Avery Bradley. That is his first foul of the game. And the Celtics really like the athleticism and great perimeter defense they saw, Steve, in Bradley. People went on to say he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA.
No question, but what I like about him, Kevin, is that he improved his offensive game dramatically last season as well. He's a great weak side cutter and really finds his way to the basket for easy layups, and his jump shot has improved as well.
Brand. Dallas, no good that time either. Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, what do you have?
Guys, the Celtics have been one of the top teams in the East, but there is a line of thinking saying they're too old to still contend for a title. Be careful writing them off, though. Last season, they became the first team in 28 years to make the conference finals after sitting with a record under 500 at the All-Star break. Kevin, this team knows how to bounce back.
Such a terrific turnaround. Thanks, Doris.
That was a nice, strong one-hand jam there.
Yeah, brought it back and ripped it down.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's nice.
And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Elton Brand is one of those players that just plays a lot bigger than he really is. He's only about 6'8", but his wingspan is 7'4", so he's just a guy who can shoot over the top of people. Doesn't look like he's going to get it done, but he does.
Looking at who's out there now for the Celtics. Chris Wilcox, he's checked in for Garnett. Green comes in for Brandon Bass. And it's Terry in for Courtney Lee. 52 seconds left in the first half of basketball. And more in the NBA, you know, Clark, you hear that term wingspan or arm span.
Yeah, and there's another one we can add to that. Standing reach. That's how high you reach extends above the floor. For Elton Brand, he has a 9'2" standing reach, comparable to a center.
Here's Terry, following the basket by O.J. Mayo. Pass to Bradley, and stolen by Wright. It's Mayo on the wing. Here's Beaubois. The shot from the low post is good. And now just a 1-point Celtic lead. Closing in on 4 minutes played here in the second quarter. Terry dishes to Pierce. Back to Terry. Kicks it to Pierce. Gets it to go. Pierce has got 6 points in the quarter. There's 10 seconds left in the first half. Outside Mayo. Over Bradley. And no good trying to get that one. And we're through 2 here in